Welcome to the Pod Bay Door.
Hello out there in the verse. This is the Pod Bay Door. Please join us every Tuesday for informed discussions on new and upcoming movies, games, and tech. And if you love Las Vegas, stay tuned because as Vegas insiders, we can give you a unique perspective on its history, provide insider information, and reveal the unknown secrets of our town, Vegas. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. We're glad you're with us. And hey, if you get the chance, subscribe to us and give us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Also check in with us on our YouTube channel at the Pod Bay Door Podcast.
What is a podcast?
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
You look like somebody just walked over your grave.
This is Sparta!
I'm Bruce Nolan for Eyewitness News. Back to you, fuckers.
This is the podbaydoor.com. Adam and Jamey here. We're going to have a little shorter episode. We're trying out some new gear, some new audio, new video, and see what happens here. But we will try to keep all of your favorites involved. Adam, this week we're discussing the Las Vegas's worst customers. Calm down, sir.
Yeah, we know a few of those.
That's right. I think we've had some individual gaming and non-gaming. Gaming and hotel are a lot different.
They can be.
Can be. I think gaming is a little bit more aggressive. I think individually, case per case.
Well, I think gamblers will be a little more aggressive than your normal, traveler or patron.
Yeah, I think so.
But in different ways, they want their free stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas the other people want their hospitality things, their free shampoos and their bathrobes and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, they want the chocolate on the pillows for sure. But we're going to talk about that. Topless report, nerd alert, gear grinders, and Area 52. Keep all those comments and show suggestions coming in. We love them all. I made an error.
Oh,
It's not
the first time.
No, it's not true. I rarely make errors because I do a lot of research, so I don't make the errors. But
Right.
I was very kindly and through WordPress, which I was impressed with. There is a screen name, Gimlad. Does somebody? Do you know Gimlad?
I'm trying to figure out where that's from.
Because
I'm pretty sure I've heard that before. Because
Gimlad off of WordPress sent a fact check to me using my name. I mean, my name's all over the podcast,
Okay.
but he seemed familiar, but I'm not sure.
With you?
Well, familiar with us. I mean,
Okay.
I didn't know if
Yeah.
that was a friend of yours.
I don't know.
But I made an error. I referred to. I often talk very quickly when we're on the podcast, so I can cut down
we're
the time.
bringing most of these things, but we do some research.
All right, and I referred incorrectly to the Confederate flag as the Union Jack. Union Jack, of course, is the flag flown in Britain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the British flag, and I incorrectly referred to that. So
I got you.
Thank you very much for the fact check. I do appreciate that. Gimlad actually wrote a great number of things to me. I have not ignored them. I'm going to cover those in a little bit of the gear grinders, but it of course had to do with the recent removal programs of all the Confederate statues and whatnot.
He had some interesting opinions on that.
He had some interesting opinions, opposite opinions. But again, thank you for the fact check. Never insulting, always appreciated, because that means you're listening.
That's right.
Yay!
And then we have to further research, which is never a bad thing.
Exactly.
We learn more.
No, absolutely. Adam's absolutely right. Secondly, we were trying to figure out poker movies.
Yes.
And Adam and I are extremely good about remembering films and people in films and quotes and things of that nature, the whole 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon thing. But couldn't remember another poker movie other than Rounders for shit. Now, Adam has a few.
A few, but they're not just, strictly poker movies. They have poker scenes in them, heavily. All right, so my examples that I got from Chris Felix Thanks, Chris, was Casino Royale.
Yeah.
The James Bond.
Yeah.
Which obviously is pretty poker heavy in the first one there.
Right.
But again, not really a poker movie per se.
Right.
And then also Maverick. Old
James
Western.
Garner,
also,
Mel Gibson.
Also had some pretty famous poker scenes in it, but wasn't
Right.
necessarily a poker movie.
Right. But Maverick though, it's very poker related though.
Heavy.
Yeah, more so than Casino Royale.
Right. And then I know you had one.
Chris, the podcasting buddy over there at Faces and Aces, podcast facesandaces.com. Chris reminded me that there is one coming out starring Miss Jessica Chastain, who is welcome to visit anytime.
Mm-hmm.
And Molly's Game. Now, again, you pointed out that it's not strictly poker.
Underground gambling scene.
Gambling scene.
But, closely related, I suppose. So.
Yeah.
And that's coming out soon, so you can check out the trailer for that.
That's right. But hot chicks and gambling, I mean, again, it meets all the criteria.
But Rounders. That's the end-all, be-all of poker movies. Right?
It is.
If you haven't seen Rounders, go check it out.
Yeah, go see it. Old Matt Damon. Now, Casino Royale, I have to bring this up, irritated me because they always have a Bond girl, and in the beginning of Casino Royale, they have this beautiful, beautiful Persian-looking girl, Middle Eastern girl, and they kill her off right away. She's not the Bond girl, and then the Bond girl they had in that one was not my favorite.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah, she was pretty hot in the first 5 minutes, and then they killed
her on the beach.
They had to really jam in there that James Bond can't save his women.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, Daniel Craig's a great guy, but I do not like him as Bond.
Well, it's too bad because he's going to be in the next one too.
I know, begrudgingly.
Well, I don't know. He seemed to he changed his mind on it somewhere.
Well, after the last Bond, I mean, he gave everybody the big finger and said no more. Yeah. But everybody, he probably needs money.
Yeah,
so.
He got the price. I liked him as James Bond, so I'm excited to see it.
Cool. Topless report. Where are they naked now? Now, I found this one, and I didn't. This has been around. This knowledge has been around a while, and we have here in not in Las Vegas, in Nye County, outside of Las Vegas, we have a very strange area called Pahrump.
Okay.
And Pahrump, again, is in Nye County.
I played golf there, yeah.
Yep, golf. They have actually PGA-rated golf courses, and actually at the place I'm going to talk about.
Okay.
They have wineries now with award-winning wines. Not being a wine guy, I'm sure they're great, but I have been at the winery. And, of course, they have brothels. What? They have legalized brothels.
Yes.
And Sherry's Ranch is one of those brothels. And of course, there's a lot of nudity at the brothels. However, there is something that I was looking at massage, thinking that would be a wellspring of knowledge regarding nakedness in Las Vegas. And there is something called Nuru massage, Japanese term.
Yeah.
And it is referred to as the dark underground massage discipline.
Ooh.
Yes. And I just thought it was an interesting.
It sounds like somewhere where Jamie would never be caught naked.
That's right.
That list.
Jamie's
you can add that to that list.
Yeah, Jamie's not going to get caught naked anywhere. But basically, it's not as mysterious as it is. But the masseuse, who, of course, at a brothel is a little bit more than a masseuse.
The fine young lady.
Yes, they get they are completely nude. And they oil themselves up with a very specific set of oils, right. Sesame being one of them. I thought that was strange. And then the recipient of the Nuru massage also is oiled up.
The same.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then instead of the manipulation of the hands and with the hands and everything else, the masseuse. Basically rubs her body all over that person.
Massage.
Full body massage with her body.
Yes.
And this is happening right now as we speak in Nye County. But it's called Nuru massage, and I thought very interesting.
Anyway, so I've never seen this before at all.
Well, yeah, I've not seen it. I mean, I knew.
I'm just kidding. I have.
Have you? Spend some time
I mean, it sounds like an interesting event. I've never really had more than one or two professional massages before.
Right.
But something I would be interested in trying.
Well, sure. Now, obviously, a standard massage Gosh, I'm not a wine massage. I don't like any of that stuff. But standard massage is about $100, I think, for 50 minutes,
Sure,
an hour,
something like that.
I'm absolutely sure. I did not look up Sherry's list, but I'm absolutely sure it's more than that. And I don't know exactly.
It's underground, so you never
It's
know.
underground. They refer to it
Yeah.
right here.
The price could be varying,
Yes,
so.
yes. But we will have to look that up. But Nye County, Pahrump, wineries and golf. Now you play golf. What was the course
Oh gosh, put me on the spot.
Now, because Sherry's Ranch has.
If I had my phone on me today, which I don't, I would look it up.
Yeah.
But fine courses. They were always in nice condition.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of people out there,
Yeah.
so you kind of play at your own pace.
The same place with this new room massage is Sherry's Ranch, who sponsors an 18-hole PGA course.
Mm-hmm.
And,
What's that one called? Do you know?
I don't.
I would be
I
able
don't
to-
because it's always been associated with Sherry's Ranch to me, so I'm not sure. Yeah.
It's
But,
funny that that's where all the money comes from, either golf or
I guess
massage
so.
parlors.
Yeah, I guess so. And Sherry's Ranch, I
She owns it all.
Well, they have a bar. They have a sports bar. You can watch your favorite sports thing and everything else. And they just happen to have the ladies that are working hard out there as ladies of the evening or dark. The ladies of the dark underground massage.
That's great.
Nerd alert. Now
We'll get back to you on that one.
Okay, yeah, get back to me on that one. Yeah, but nerd alert. What do you got?
Some good things. I like to start off with science most of the time.
Yeah.
So I've been watching this TV show called Salvation.
Okay.
And the premise, I don't know if have you seen it?
I have. I decided not to watch it. I found the first episode quite boring.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry.
it's fine. I mean, it's one of those kind of filler shows,
Right.
if you will. But in this
Right.
one, there's an asteroid that's coming down, and they have to band together to send up some sort of technology to
Right.
deflect off this asteroid.
Okay.
So in real life, just yesterday, this asteroid Florence just passed by the Earth.
Okay.
And what made this one special was it's the largest asteroid to pass this at the closest distance since they started charting asteroids. So this one was 2.5 miles wide.
Okay.
And it passed 4.4 million miles from Earth. So it cleared us by quite a distance.
Yeah.
But it was big enough so had it impacted Earth, it would have been, a catastrophic event. So it kind of relates to what they're doing in this show currently.
Okay. Right.
And also with a little history, an asteroid actually hit Russia about 3 years ago.
Okay.
And in the show, they use that as a plot point, and they say that the United States government actually deflected this asteroid into Russia. So there's a big old political hoopla going on about that.
Of course.
So it little touches on a little bit of everything going on now.
All right.
And also, this asteroid has passed by.
All right. Well, what was it? Armageddon. Or what was the near-Earth collision budget?
That's right.
Yeah, I'm sure it's still quite low. But no, that's cool. That's cool. And that's close, though. I mean,
yeah, 4.4 million miles. It's still I think it said the moon was something like 500,000 miles
Right,
away.
right.
So you're pretty far out.
Okay.
But pretty good sized rock that just kind of flies by us, and they've tracked it before, so it's on a rotation.
Oh, it is.
So then it's going to come back around in year 2500.
And this happened when?
Yesterday, passed by, I think.
Huh. I'm sure it's interesting that we're having all the troubles with Harvey, and then the asteroids are.
Yeah,
flying
you
by.
never even heard of
Yeah.
the asteroid because it's going down with Harvey.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
All right.
there
Wow.
you go.
Amazing.
Clever, huh?
Yeah.
I just want to hit on a little quick trailer reference with all the big movies that are coming on. This is kind of an indie one that's coming out now. It's called Blade of the Immortal. Kind of a flashback to old kung fu movies. This is the 100th film by Takashi Miike, who was the director of 13 Assassins. I don't know if you saw that one.
I did.
But this one seems like kind of real new age, kind of had some hip hop in the trailer, some real flashy kung fu, and I'm always down for a kung fu movie. So
You know, and I
check
lived
out
on
the
them
trailer
as a kid, man.
Yeah,
Saturday
I
morning
know.
kung fu movies. Are you
Totally,
kidding?
totally.
Oh man, yeah, I
So
loved
check
them.
out the trailer. It looks pretty cool.
Nice.
And it's all dubbed, but it's all it's not just like an old school dub. You know,
Right.
it kind of fits to the scene. It's kind of actiony.
Mhm.
They use different fonts and colorings and stuff like that. It looks pretty cool.
Gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
So check out the trailer.
Nice.
With Blade of the Immortal.
Blade of the Immortal.
Yeah. And then I wanted to jump into some conventions. I know we haven't talked on it for a little while.
Right.
So I was looking up some random ones.
Nice.
The big one, I guess, would be Salt Lake Comic-Con. The big one in San Diego. It kind of, jumps places, but this is the one in San Diego, so it's going to be huge.
Okay.
Like all the big stars will be there. Again, I had a list on my phone, but I don't have it with me, so look it up. That's going to be a huge one. But Las Vegas specifically, there's an independent game developers conference coming into town called GamesCon. September 8th. That's actually next weekend.
All right.
At the Westgate Hotel. Pretty low budget, indie games, video games, cell phone games, board games, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Stuff that I want to go see. See if I can, spread, the spider webs, meet people and stuff like that.
I saw the crowdsourcing is sort of waning as it regards certain things like movies. Steven Soderbergh is trying to remove developers out of the situation and trying to get, funding in different ways. Crowdsourcing being one of them. Okay. But crowdsourcing is tough because, obviously, that it takes money and not a lot of people want to do that. Too many scams. But I noticed that the article mentioned that what is still going strong is the development of crowdsourcing for gaming. Okay. For board games and video games and things of that nature.
I think that's a good way to get, the people that actually care about the industry to get your product and get what they want out of it. Because you got a lot of special bonus content, just for getting in early.
Absolutely.
You get that behind the scenes a little bit too.
And that's at Westgate.
Westgate Hotel, yeah.
Not a great place. It's okay.
Like this is a smaller one, so I'm sure it'll be in one of their little smaller convention halls. But interesting. I want to check it out.
Yeah.
We got a Sci-Fi Fantasy Con coming to the Hard Rock of all places.
Really?
September 29th through the October 1st.
Okay.
I thought that was kind of a strange setting for one because Hard Rock's more of kind of like the grungy crowd, but not rock and roll crowd.
The rock and roll, rock and roll does not necessarily mean sci-fi to me.
Yeah,
in fact, it's really
almost
quite
a little
opposite.
bit of a polar. Yeah. We'll see how that crowd meshes. I mean, I like both rock and roll and nerd stuff, so we'll see. G2E. The Global Gaming Expo, not really nerd stuff, but more slot machines and that type of gaming.
Right.
Big in the Vegas scene. You get people from all over the world here coming just for slot machines.
Yeah.
That's October 3rd through the 5th.
Right.
Jamie knows because we usually cover some of their. What do they have? The
G2E fashion show.
The fashion show.
Yeah,
which is usually cool.
Cinta's. We cover. It's actually kind of cool. We cover a fashion show that it's a 2-level fashion show. And it has to do with the uniforms for all of the hotel personnel, bar, cocktails, and it's a lot of fun. And our friend Carla from Mrs. Events does that here, and it's a great event. It's a great event. It's if you like gaming and tech nerd stuff, it's the place to be.
And they always have some cool recent pop stuff like Walking Dead or what's the Third Rock? No, Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory.
They always have
Third Rock.
Yeah, Third Rock. I was going back. Some of those big slot machines that they're always coming out with.
Exactly.
Usually pretty cool.
Exactly. Yeah, I saw Sex and the City the other day. It was awful. Mm-hmm. It was awful, but cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Always some new technology there too, which is always cool. And then finally, Sabacon, big anime con. A lot of TV and anime stuff like that. Nerds, video games, cosplay, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
That's huge for that. November 18th and 20th through 20th at the Tuscany.
Little tiny.
Yeah, Little Tiny.
Tuscany. Yeah. Oh, man.
Upcoming in Vegas, that's just till the end of the year. And also the one in Salt Lake. So, nice. Always some good times.
Now, I recently took a trip. We'll include this in the nerd alert here. I took a trip. I went to Universal Studios.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. Universal Studios Hollywood, too far from Florida right now.
Right.
Everybody says Florida's a lot better. It probably is, whatever, blah, blah.
Yeah, but it's 3,000 miles away.
That's right. And the plane ticket was way cheap.
Yeah.
Way cheap.
You don't want to fly through the storm anyway.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. But I went to Universal Studios specifically because I wanted to see the tech involved and the landscape design of the Harry Potter exhibit.
I know. I'm
And
excited. You didn't bring me any jelly beans.
No, yeah, that's true. But it was very, very cool. Basically, there's a Forbidden Journey, which is a 3D motion ride, but it actually the car that you're in is on a robotic arm, and the robotic arm takes you through a set of screens, animatronics, smells, wind. I mean, it's a true 4D experience, for as much as they consider it.
Right.
And it is very impressive. It was very impressive. Thoroughly enjoyed the park. It was, of course, immaculate as usual. And the kids were back in school, so yay!
Right, so it was pretty empty.
That's right. Did the front of the line pass for anybody who's considering it?
Yeah.
Absolutely do that. Even if the park isn't busy, there is a potential of getting busy, and there's still. So we were able to actually run through it when we first walked in, ran through the entire park, and then with the front of the line pass, ran through the entire park again with no problems.
Nice.
Yeah. But
all right. So what else was there besides Harry Potter?
Well, Harry Potter basically has the Forbidden Journey. It has the Flight of the Hippogriff, which is for little kids.
Okay.
Unless you're trying to ride all the rides in the nation.
Like the teacups.
Yeah, I mean it's like 20 seconds.
Oh.
I mean it's just nothing. And they have the Ollivander's wand shop, which the kids love.
Nice.
And you go and get your wand. Actually, they have. It's amazing the number of wands they have.
I imagine they're all pretty legit.
Oh yeah, they're all, and you get a little custom box, and you get the certificate of authenticity, and they activate the wand, and the wand, of course, goes throughout the whole park, and you can cast spells and do
clever.
stuff. Really great for kids.
Yeah.
But they had the bank. What is the bank called? Can't remember the bank right now.
Yeah, Scrooge McDuck's bank. I don't know.
Well, no, but what's funny is the bank area for the Harry Potter. What is that called? Either way, that's where the ATM.
Oh, okay.
That's
I
where
know
the
what you're talking about now. You're
yeah.
still in Harry Potter. I was thinking elsewhere.
Oh no, they had the
starts with a G.
Yeah. It is.
Nah.
The
nerds are gonna get on
and
this.
it's where the legitimate ATMs are. I thought that was clever.
Okay.
They had and butterbeer. I don't know why everybody when I've researched it, it's too sweet. It tastes this. It tastes that. And and I don't know why they spend their lifetime complaining. It's cream soda with this really cool sort of froth on top, and they have it both blended and not.
Right.
It's fantastic. Too expensive.
Well,
but
sure.
It's refreshing. It's well worth it. But what else? They have Transformers at the park. I've been on that a couple of times. Fantastic ride.
Nice.
It is a technological wonder.
I think you were telling me about it last time.
Yeah.
You actually kind of go through a battle scene, right?
Yes. Yeah. You're involved in a city battle scene. All the favorite characters are there. Optimus Prime assists you all the way through, and Bumblebee, of course, is there. But really impressive ride. I went with a friend of mine, and he said, no matter what, if I go on a water ride, I will get drenched, and so will you.
Okay.
And I'm like, no, it's not really the kind of thing. And sure enough, the Jurassic Park ride, which is a fantastic ride, yeah, head to toe.
Been there.
Just absolutely soaked. Yeah. But as far as new, really the only thing that's new is Harry Potter. Now, one thing that I did walk through, which was a little disappointing for most Walking Dead fans. I am not a fan. I refer to it as the Walking Lame.
Right.
And Fear the Walking Lame.
Fear the Walking Dead is lame.
Right? It lived up to its reputation. The makeup was outstanding. It was a walkthrough exhibit. You walk through basically the hospital that Rick wakes up in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's lackadaisical. It's very short. For people who like haunted houses, it is not scary.
Not as much.
Yeah. Obviously, think haunted houses have changed. They can't touch you. They don't really get really close to you, because if they try to get close to you and accidentally touch you, then the whole thing, they get sued.
So now all it is fingers between doors.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's actors there that are firing guns or fake guns. I also, they made a big deal of the fact that it's no longer going to be part of Universal's Halloween time. And I think that's more of a licensing issue.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah.
Because you would think that would be their number one attraction.
Exactly.
Right?
But I took Lyft. First time ever. Yes.
Yeah. We got to talk to Hal. He's a Lyft driver now.
He's a Lyft driver. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I'm going to talk to you about that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it was good. I have tried Uber once now and Lyft once. Lyft is absolutely currently less expensive.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you were talking about
sure.
that in one of the other episodes.
Yeah. They have a few more options. I'm not going to bore you because it's been around a while, but
Sure.
I talked to a young lady. Of course, we were in Hollywood, and she was a Lyft driver, but she was also used to be a script supervisor for Roger Corman, very famous director. She was telling me about Saban Films, and she worked for, a lot of her friends worked for that.
For like, no, keep going.
Power Rangers.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
that's where I was
Power
at. I was just didn't know you were.
Elizabeth Banks, yeah, all right. But it was a very nice experience, but it was, it is what it is. There's still the insurance issue, there's still the safety issue, but thus far, my experience has been positive. Sure. I'm just not going to be a big user of it, especially here in Las Vegas.
It's convenient for when you need it.
Yes. Las Vegas is for getting to and from the airport because the cab drivers are shitbags and they screw you. Be careful.
Yeah.
And the second reason for Las Vegas is the
up and
number
down
one
the
reason.
strip.
Yeah, because you're bombed and you have to get home.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's the only thing I ever hear of about Las Vegas is, from people that are locals. You get hammered and you need a ride
to
home.
and from the bar.
That's right.
Yeah.
And there's no restrictions. There is exactly what it is, and it's like having a friend pick you up. So, but going back to the movie situation, I wanted to mention that there was a movie that I recently saw. I'm always contradicting you.
Okay.
Yeah, and saying, no, it's not.
This movie was good, this movie was bad.
This movie's good, this movie's bad. And so what I saw recently is Ghost in the Shell.
Okay.
Outstanding.
Outstanding.
Loved it.
Okay.
I thought it was the freshest film I've seen in a very, very long time. I know I'm late in this review, and I'm not going to give a long review, but I'm late because it's been out a long time. Scarlett Johansson, obviously very attractive. In this movie, actually, they weren't playing on her attractiveness. Not really.
Well, they weren't playing on her acting skills either.
Not really, no. I mean, they didn't. It's not like she was acting badly. It was just they're playing a cybernetic
robot.
Yeah, organism.
She did fine.
Yeah, and I thought the bodysuit was indeed what they said. It was as far as the costuming, it was amazing, and interactivity with its own with the CGI designers.
I agree. The CGI was fantastic.
Yeah,
I'll give you that much.
Yeah. I didn't expect the acting. I thought it had a very interesting feel. It felt like a few films that I've seen.
Like a Blade Runner.
A little bit of a Blade Runner. I'm worried about Ryan Gosling in the upcoming Blade Runner. I think he's too cocky for the film. And I'm afraid that's going to come out. I also recently saw La La Land, and I thought it was atrocious.
Really?
I thought it was atrocious. I am a fan of musical. My mother is probably crying in her chair listening to this right now. I thought that they could have, although they did a fine job, I thought both individuals were miscast.
Okay. Well, I'll have to see that so that I can disagree with you.
Yes, yes. But if you're a fan of musicals, I just don't feel everybody says it represented the old style musicals and the Busby Berkeleys and that type of thing, the Gene Kelly style. I absolutely did not. I thought it was a shadow of what was produced by the famous directors.
Okay.
But
back to Ghost in the Shell.
Yes.
What would you grade it then?
You know what? I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. Again, I don't go into. I'm a very easy movie watcher. Yeah. My range is
Hot Chicks and Explosions. You've said it before.
If
you got that, you're good.
I thought the city scenes and the designs were fantastic. I liked the relationship with the graphics and the giant ad displays where they had people walking through the city as an ad for the
virtual
company.
Thing.
It was fantastic. And I thought the subject matter was interesting, and I would have liked to seen a second film. Obviously, there's not going to be one with Scarlett Johansson. I don't think it did as well as they wanted to do.
No, I agree. For the budget of the film, it didn't pull back what it needed to see a sequel.
It had a mysterious feel. It had an Asian influence. Obviously, it came from the Asian comic graphic novel, slash anime style. But I did feel that it pulled off the feeling it was looking for. It was dark. It was apocalyptic. It was
futuristic.
The rise of the machines. Yeah. A different look at that. And having a heroine instead of a hero in that situation. It's not a RoboCop. It's not a Demolition Man. It's not a Dredd. It's and I think it was very fatalistic. And I think maybe, unfortunately, that was received negatively by people. But I thought it was an outstanding film.
I would be curious to see what you thought about Valerian.
Okay.
Because it's got the same kind of similar futuristic kind of CGI style to it.
Absolutely.
We're going to have to watch that one when it comes out.
Outstanding.
I'd be curious to go back and see what I graded Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
Thinking back on it now, I'd probably give it around a 7.5, somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
It was good, but not great. It hit a few things that were it missed on a few things that were in the anime, the original one.
Right.
And then it hit on a few other things. And obviously Scarlett Johansson, I thought, did a good job. I thought her acting was a little wooden because she was playing a robot, obviously. Yeah. As good as bad.
Yeah, But moving on, Concierge Chronicle this week. It's kind of a quick one, but we have alluded to the fact that we've had a lot of difficulty with, we're going to call them guests. Adam at his blackjack table, and me at my concierge desk. They called it. It really wasn't a desk. So I'll start it off. I mentioned the fact that I've had many things thrown at me in my lifetime, most of which is while I worked for the Venetian.
Because they thought it was your fault that they weren't getting what they wanted?
They were exasperated and or drunk and or mad about one thing or another, and unfortunately concierge in Las Vegas are sort of the pincushions, much like dealers.
The front lines.
Yeah, they're the front lines. Dealers are more like the psychiatrists.
A little bit like the bartenders.
The bartenders, they're like the barbers. I mean, they got to listen to all this crap from these people. Sob stories, the losing the money, and then there's some positive things. I mean, there's the fun bachelorette parties and the people screaming and having fun. Concierge don't have that.
No, they get all the problems.
Yeah, we get all the problems.
Right.
Yeah,
which they like to call,
challenges.
Something.
Yes.
They never like to just label it what it is. It's
no, they never said problems.
Yeah.
We much like everybody else in the corporate world, concierge had a whole, a dictionary, a vernacular that they had to follow. It was not a problem; it was a challenge.
That's
right.
We
had a lot of really problematic challenges.
That's right.
Yes, one gentleman came up, and I'm not talking a little weenie 1 ounce souvenir shot glass.
Right.
I'm talking, a high-end,
the thick glass,
3
triple
ounce,
shot.
rocks shot glass.
Yeah.
And this guy came up, and he wanted, in this particular case, he wanted Madonna tickets. When Madonna, yes.
Okay. That must be them for his girlfriend.
It was a while ago. But very memorable.
Yeah.
And of course, Madonna was sold out before she even thought about coming to Las Vegas. And he said, money is no object. That's a big phrase with concierge.
Oh, yeah.
Money is no object, which is a gigantic lie.
That's like the douchebag red flag?
Yes. Once they hear what the actual object is, it becomes an object. In this case, he was unwilling to pay $3,000 a ticket, which is exactly what they were. We are not like Michael J. Fox in For Love of Money. We can't magically
whip
call
up
a buddy.
Deal and
we don't have the tickets in our back pockets. They don't have them. Don't let any concierge tell you in Las Vegas that they have that type of relationship. Someone is going to exchange money for these tickets. Now, sometimes the concierge will buy them in advance and then sell them for a profit.
Sure.
Okay, but call the ticket. They're not scalpers. They're actually ticket agencies that sell tickets that do buy them in advance. And I said, okay, I'm going to call him Mr. Smith.
You're like, this is your option.
Because Mr. Shitbag is too long.
Right.
I said, Mr. Smith, it would be $6,000 for the pair. How would you like to pay for those? Again, remarking about the money is no object. Well, this was highway robbery. Obviously, I was trying to pull a fast one and pocketing the money and giving him $50 tickets for $6,000.
That's right.
Again, I don't have these tickets to sell. It went on and on and on, and I'm extremely good about dealing with customers. In fact, oftentimes they would call me out to sort of
deal with
mollify the situation.
Right.
There was no
I did satisfying this guy.
One. Yeah, I did not assuage his problems. Yeah. He then backed up, finished his drink, and threw it at me. Breaking, I believe it was a vase behind me. He missed. He's lucky he missed. And then was immediately escorted to
now you've broken casino property.
That's right. That's right.
You're gone.
This is assault. If you hit me, it would have been battery, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And then the officers, of course, come out of the woodwork, out of the fountains and out of the desks.
Right.
And escort him to the detention facility. And that was the last time I saw Mr. Smith.
Under the casino in the back room with the sledgehammer.
Yes, Venetian definitely has an under the casino. We call it back of the house, but it's it's a little bit past the employee dining room. He was taken and had a discussion. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if he was arrested or not. Most likely no, because they don't want that.
Sure,
problem.
He got charged for the vase and sent on his drunk way.
Yeah. So, what do you got? What'd they do to you?
What they do to me? Well, you know, gamblers all have their superstitions. So I've been yelled at about a variety of things or random, motions or ways that I've dealt. A lot of people do just come for the game, but when they start losing money, that's when they start getting rowdy.
Right.
One, for instance, I was playing with this guy, and he was a foreigner of some sort, had a thick accent. And I try to talk with people, and get in the game with them a little bit. This guy wasn't having any of that because he was losing.
Right.
And he was probably betting pretty decently. It's probably $25 a hand or something.
Sure.
And he told me, he said, "Would you stop talking, please, and just deal the game?" And that's not exactly how he said it, but and so I proceeded to just go ahead and take all his money.
Yeah.
And that's what I was doing to begin with, but
Right.
and it's not like I could change the cards, but I took everybody's money. But that guy in particular, like he just had a day. He didn't want to deal with it.
Yeah. Well, see, dealers had a unique ability to get revenge, if you will.
Sure.
You couldn't obviously respond. There was no retort.
No.
To him. I'm sure
at that point,
I'm sure you're being very diplomatic with your words.
Right.
But you get the last laugh because you suck away all of the last bit of his money.
And he loses all his money and he has to leave.
Yeah.
Thank God, because if I had ended up paying him out, I would have.
Right.
Not that I would have heard anything, but I would have felt like an idiot taking his shit and then having to pay him money.
Right.
Right. There were other times where drunk people would get in fights right there at the table.
Mm-hmm.
I had a group of guys got pissed off over a hand on Pai Gow because I wouldn't let the guy behind him bet over his shoulder on his hand.
Yeah.
And I remember security came and man, they escorted this guy out. It was right after I was on break too, so I was stuck on the table for an hour with his other friend. So it just depends. The free drinks are flowing, obviously. And like I said, gamblers always have their little idiosyncrasies.
Yeah, and the whole red light, green light qualifying for drinks is a little. It really, they haven't figured out a way to screw us on the drinks on the table.
Enough. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly.
But they will. They will. You're going to have to each spot on the craps table or each spot on the thing.
You have to have like a little side bet for drinks.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right.
There's not enough side bets.
Right. That's right. The other thing that happens all the time to concierge, well, it did for me. I maybe more for men. We've talked about it. I told the story about Mr. Jean-Claude Van Damme and the whole Tropical Thunder marijuana condom issue. Condoms are are a big request, and they were when I was at the Venetian. And I actually had all the accoutrements for providing guest service. I had a lint brush, I had a Zippo, I had a this, I had a that.
Right.
And
a little bit of everything.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. I was able to just whip that right out and help the gentleman. Well, we had, as we opened the Venetian, we began getting requests for individual condoms, like, hey buddy,
hey,
you
got
a
one?
condom? Yeah. And I thought, what the hell?
Start carrying a few?
And yes, and that,
$5.
That quickly was shut down.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Huh.
I said no more, no more. They really didn't give me a reason because they don't have to give a reason. It's an at-will state. They could have fired me anyway for doing it. But
you're promoting sex.
I'm promoting sex. I'm promoting illicit activities in the Venetian, which is funny because it's a gambling establishment.
Right.
But they
with hotel rooms that people pay for with locks on them.
They put the kibosh on condoms.
Huh.
So I don't know if that's the case throughout the town, but I don't believe concierge will have condoms.
Well, for the most part, they're in the bathrooms here in the casinos. They got little vending machines with mints and condoms. So.
And to wrap up this very quick section, we'll talk a lot more about our experiences here in town. But I cannot tell you the number of times my colleagues and myself have been told that we are going to be sued.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I can imagine.
Yeah, and being a direct, people think that because we work there, we're a direct representative legally of the entity that is the
casino.
And we always kind of laughed. We said, well, no, go ahead. I mean, you're welcome to put me on there, but I don't have any money.
Yeah.
And I have nothing to do with
no power.
No power. And no power whatsoever to do anything.
Yeah.
I was probably sued or
threatened to sue.
Threatened to sue once a week.
Oh yeah.
Once a week.
My favorite was I'm never coming back here again.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And
see you later.
And our friend John would you promise that?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And people don't understand that these giant corporations. It's unfortunate that it's true, but they don't care because you'll be replaced by 5 more people that are going to play penny slots and that are worth a lot more than you are.
That's right.
But when it comes right down to it, I've said it before, folks. When you come to Las Vegas, money gets money. Meaning that if you want good service, you got to tip. If you want to play and win money, you got to bring the money to play. You got to put it down in front of Adam and say, "Let's play. Let's do this."
You got to try to get there.
Very, very rarely people come in and throw a couple of quarters in megabucks
and hit the jackpot and leave.
Yeah, although there's more stories of megabucks that type of winner than there are not. You have to be able to spend money to get the service that you want. If you want Madonna tickets, you're going to spend $6,000, or you're going to have to find somebody, or you're going to be a player and get them from your host.
Right. Or you're going to spend $6,000 in the slots to get them.
That's right. Now, I don't particularly like casino hosts. I think they're shifty individuals. However, I have to say that if you want something done, and you're a gambler,
and you gamble there,
use a host.
The hosts are your benefit.
They're great for what they do. I just they kind of rub me wrong.
They're just good for the players that spend a lot of money.
Exactly. So if you're even if you're a tiny gambler, because they have hosts that are for tiny gamblers.
Sure.
And I don't mean small. I mean you're going to spend a lot of money. Use a host. They're good at what they do. If you're not a gambler and want service, use a concierge. They're good at what they do. Make sure that it's an actual concierge, not just a bunch of salespeople trying to sell you shows.
Correct.
Yeah, so make sure of that.
Yeah.
So again, we love all the questions about Vegas. Please let us know what you want to know. If you've never been to Vegas, we'll tell you. We live here. We breathe here, we've worked here, and for a very long time, and we know a great number of things.
We can give you the true side.
We'll give you the true side.
Areas.
We've got gaming, we've got limos, we've got concierge, we've got hotel side, and we'll tell you what's going on. And if you want current news, please let us know. We'll do the research. Now, there are some podcasts out there that do a great job about what's coming up. There's sort of a copy of like What's On magazine or Where magazine. But if you want to know the truth about what you're hearing, let us know, and then you can come in and just have armor. You're ready to enjoy Vegas. But please keep those questions coming in, and fact checks. If you hear me say something wrong, please do send that in.
Call us out.
That's right. Gear grinders. Now, speaking of the fact check again, Gimlad. You got to look that up.
Gimlad. God, that sounds so familiar.
Ask your friends, because it sounded like you knew us.
Yeah.
I don't know. Gimlad, again, fact check, Union Jack, I misreferred, no problem, got it. Stop, my whole point in saying what I did last week is I wanted people to understand that I don't support racism, I don't support slavery, I don't support any of that stuff. My point is, I don't want the representation of any other individual. My notation here in the pre-show, in the rundown, stop representing me with your cause. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't want you to tear down the monuments in this country in my name. In all this group's name, in either white or black or brown or yellow or anybody's name. You need to stop doing that. If you feel you have a problem with the statue of Robert E. Lee, then you need to say it. You need to say, I have a problem. These individuals are not saying this. Now,
not because of slavery 100 years ago.
Exactly. Right. Now, all of these ancillary problems that are happening, you know, the Trump being very cryptic in his response, and the white nationalists jumping in, and the skinheads and everything else. I don't support that. You know, I don't support any of these groups that are any of them on either side, because they are not informed. They are not. They do not have the strength of character to say what they're saying, and a lot of times they're incorrect in what they're saying. And again, though, I bring it all back to, I don't want causes being forged in my name, whether I'm white or black or yellow or brown, because you know, I may not agree. And I absolutely don't agree with the way it's being handled. I'll give you an example. In Florida, Gainesville, I believe.
Okay.
There was a monument in front of a courthouse, very small town, a small part of the town. Monument looked like the Washington Monument, a giant spire, a pointed marble thing. And it was constructed or paid for and arranged by the Daughters of the Confederacy. And those individuals, I'm not going to go into a long description, but the Daughters of the Confederacy were actually doing good things, they thought, for the people that had died and fought for the Confederacy. But again, it was a Confederate issue. It was a North-South issue back then. And they weren't bad people, they were just honoring the people on their particular side, in this case, the Confederacy. Well, they erected this monument. Hundreds of years later,
now they have a problem with it.
100 years later, we're going to have a problem with this now, because we're offended, you know, when we pass by the court building that this is standing here, and I'm talking an innocuous statue.
It's a spire.
Yeah. Now, fast forward, there was a big day and they subsequently put plywood around it, because what has been happening is that in a completely illegal way, people are tearing these things down by themselves.
Like little bit by little bit?
Yes, which is an absolute felony and a federal crime if it's a federal land. So in order to avoid this, they put plywood around it, which not only masked it, it provided safety. Well, okay, it came to a head, and of course we got Hell's Angels over here, which I thought was strange. We got the Confederate, sympathizers. We got white nationalists. We've got blacks. We've got Hispanics. We got women, and they're all just lesbians and gays and straights, and everybody's out there.
And nobody has the same argument.
No one has the same argument. No one is well spoken enough to really define their argument. It's just that they're offended for one reason or another.
They just want to fight.
Yeah, and it usually ends up, this person's offended by the statue, this person's offended by that person, and so on and so forth.
And then it just trickles down the line. So.
And of course, there is no civil protest anymore. It always has to erupt into a problem, which this did, and of course the police then are looked at as this oligarchical, militant group, and they come in and they're just trying to make sure people don't kill each other or them. And so, fine. Well, the report I was watching then, 2 weeks later, the courthouse and the city elders decide they're going to take it down. And
because of safety issues?
Under the guise they were going to move it from the front to the back.
Okay. Because that doesn't sound like slavery.
And so and this is a over 100-year-old statue.
Yeah.
Commemorating. It's a remembrance. It's not a celebration of the Confederacy. It's not a celebration of slavery and the plight of the black person. It's just a remembrance of what it was. Regardless, it was a 100-year-plus statue, and what happened? They broke it in half. Not in half. They got it halfway down and then broke the thing. And you know what? I think that
so it'll never be the same.
It'll never be the same. And how did that help anybody? See, that's my question.
Did it make anybody feel better?
How did that help the cause of the black person? How did that insult the white nationalists? How did any of this help or hurt? It didn't.
All it did was erase history.
That's right. It erased history. They broke it, and it didn't help a single person because it happened in the
dead of night,
in the dark underground.
Yeah, right.
And because they didn't have the wherewithal, and they didn't have the confidence to just go ahead and take it down. They had to sneak away in the night with it and broke it.
And then it broke.
And again, I ask, who did it help? So now it's gone.
Yeah.
And are you a better person, or is he a better person?
And now nobody can see that.
That's right.
And be remembered of it, and then go and do their research of it.
Yeah.
And find out why.
There is no way that anyone will convince me on any level of argument that statue being gone or that statue being up strengthened or weakened any race relations we have now, because, in my opinion, our race relations are no better than they were 50 years ago.
Right.
That's right. When Jim Crow, I think we are just as bad as Jim Crow, it's just that we don't have the Jim Crow laws.
Right. It's less
I think the hatred is all there, it just may be under the surface. And I think people think there's a lot of support where there isn't. But again, Gimlad, thank you for all of your statements. He wrote a huge email, by the way.
Somebody that's actually informed, maybe?
Yes, very informed, very well spoken, and I understood the argument. I think maybe that my argument wasn't understood. There is no celebration. This is a remembrance, and break it all down. These statues being there or these statues being not there, the hatred is there and is not being affected by any of this. In fact, I think it's an incendiary problem that we're causing ourselves. And there you go.
Yeah. I don't know. So what about the statue of, say, Robert E. Lee? Something that did have a more significant, obviously, visual representation of that.
Well, I have to support my earlier statement that Robert E. Lee, as I've done a little bit more research into the Confederacy, and if you look at the historical aspects of the Confederacy and Robert E. Lee, again, I can't say resoundingly yes that he was a bad person, because I didn't live back then. Did he have slaves? I believe he did. Did he support slavery continuing?
A lot of people did.
Most certainly he did. A lot of the Union sympathizers continued to have slaves. And slavery continued well after, Abraham Lincoln's efforts. Should we take down the statue? I just don't. I don't believe. Again, I don't believe it helps, and it is a part of our history. The Catholics have a very, very checkered past in their history. From Spanish Inquisition to, unfortunately, the priesthood having molestation problems. But we're not stripping down, the statues of saints that we don't like. Catholic Church just gets rid of them. We retire the saints. We don't, Saint Christopher is gone, and so on and so forth. But no, I think I think it's certain individuals that band together and say, I'm going to represent the black race. Well, you know what? I'd like to talk
have some say into that?
Yeah, I'd like to talk to members of the black race and see exactly where they stand with this. Do they care? Best comment I ever heard about the Robert E. Lee statue was from a black man, and he was on camera. And they said, well, what do you think? And it wasn't a national news station. It was a like a vlogger or something, or a podcaster. They said, what do you think about, should we take this down? And he says, how's it going to help me pay my power bill? And there was silence.
Nobody knows.
That's right. Because when it comes right down to it, we're humans. And we all have the same problems. We have power bills, we have children, we have to get food, we have to do this, we have to drive to work. And do we really want to take the time to worry about a man who's been dead for 100 years and his statue is there? Now, I absolutely agree that these individuals are impassioned. And Gimlad is impassioned and has a point, a valid point. And I'm not attacking his points. But my point is, we're not stepping forward by doing this.
We're not creating any policy. We're not putting anything in the law. We're maybe not to create more statues like that. In the future. But
yes, we don't need to create exactly. We don't need to create a statue of Chris Pratt that commemorates slavery.
He's Guardians of the Galaxy, though.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, they have a green chick. Obviously they're fine. But the pod bay door, is not really geared for soapboxes, but unfortunately this kind of raised a soapbox issue. And again, I appreciate you giving me the time, because I know it's the last thing you want to talk about. But yes, I'll go back to what I said. None of this, however impassioned that you feel and your group feels, is a step forward. This is not a step forward. This is not a healing. As I saw a young lady in that Florida story, she was saying, we need to begin healing. Well, that's not it.
Destruction is not healing. Yeah, that's the opposite of that.
That's rubbing salt into the wound, and you're a fool if you think it's going to heal. Yeah. Clearly, because you brought out all of the militant, white nationalists.
Well, I think we just need to become more educated.
Yes. Yes. Read about the Confederacy. As I did, and because of the comments that I received, I wanted to learn about that. And and there were good people. The Daughters of the Confederacy were good people. They were good women. They were trying to do the right thing and commemorate this. Now, was it all backed by the fact that these individuals wanted, the status quo, the slavery to continue? Well, yeah. But that's the way it was.
That was business for them.
That was right.
Yeah.
That was right. So. But okay, that's it. Soapbox is off.
Stepping down.
That's right. Stepping down. Area 52 had a fun one. I'm gonna pardon me. I'm gonna have to read this a little bit. 1964, we had the Cuban Missile Crisis, of course, Kennedy, and so on. We were Cold War was in effect, and we were afraid we were going to get bombed back to the Stone Age.
Sure.
A lot of people decided to build bomb shelters. I wish I had one. It'd be so cool.
Like a little underground safety.
Yeah, underground safety.
Stock of food and water.
Today's safe rooms are a lot like that.
Right.
They're more
in case of the zombie apocalypse, just in case.
Yeah, they're more for like KNR and zombies and things like that. Although with Korea now, with North Korea, I mean, we still could have bombs.
You never know.
Yeah. But there was a wealthy businessman. His name was Gerard B. Henderson of Henderson here in Nevada.
Okay.
He built a 16,500 square foot mansion beneath Las Vegas.
Nice.
And all it was basically a big bomb shelter. Sure. It featured a swimming pool, 2 jacuzzis, a barbecue, a faux lawn, and a guest house.
Well, yeah. I mean, you gotta have lawn underground.
That's right. You gotta have a guest house, for the mother-in-law. Yeah. And all of it, back in at the time, it was 1960s decor. Yeah. And it even had adjustable lighting, so it could emulate
daytime,
sunset, stars, and moon, and all. It was very cool, and way ahead of its time. The stars even twinkled. Pretty cool.
You can see that would mess with your mind being underground for so long. That's so that could help calibrate it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It's still there. In 1983, Mr. Henderson died in The underground home.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
So
well, he was still using it.
Yeah. In 2001, it went up for sale for $2 million, a little over $2 million. Henderson's body then, he was not buried here. He was flown to, where was he? Flown to Beaufort, South Carolina, and buried inside the chapel that he built over at Laurel Hill Plantation on St. Helena Island in South Carolina. On the bottom of his headstone, I included this because it has nothing to do with Las Vegas, but I thought it was the best quote. On the bottom of Henderson's headstone in St. Helena Island, it reads, "If your hands are clean, your cause is just. And if your request is reasonable, you cannot be denied." And
okay.
I thought
it's very Vegas almost.
Yeah, I thought what an interesting connection to Vegas.
Yeah.
And what an interesting connection to the whole slavery statue thing.
Yeah.
You know, if your hands are clean, your
clean,
cause
which
is
reminds
just.
me of doing this as dealer, because you got to clear your hands when
That's
you walk
right.
off the table.
And if your request is reasonable, you cannot be denied.
Did you have any unreasonable requests, Jamie?
Oh gosh, yes, I've had.
Harkening back to the other topic,
yes,
I'm sure.
Yes, I've had many unreasonable requests, and you know what? I think we'll leave that for an upcoming Las Vegas special episode.
For sure.
But you know, the Pod Bay Door, I think, is expanding. I think we're trying to talk about more things and talk about more things that affect our lives here in Las Vegas and people's lives that love to listen about Las Vegas and love to listen about what Adam and I and our wonderful guests talk about. I hope we do interest you, and I'm thrilled that we're hitting strides in both of our downloads and our social networking. And for as much as I despise social networking, people have really responded to our podcast.
Yep.
And thepodbaydoor.com, you can find everything that you could possibly imagine with the .com for Vegas. And please ask us questions about Vegas, and we will answer them as quickly as we can.
Absolutely.
If we can't answer them directly on the podcast, we'll answer them through social. We'll answer them through email, and hopefully we'll have a lot more discussion. And hopefully I'll like more films. So that's one. I've liked one film. I have not. I want to see Logan Lucky. Is it Lucky Logan? Logan Lucky.
Logan Lucky?
Have you seen that?
No.
No? Okay.
I went and saw Hitman's Bodyguard.
Hitman's Bodyguard. Oh gosh, how was that?
It was funny. It was
Okay.
good. I'd probably give it around an 8.
All right. Was it just Deadpool without a costume?
It was a little bit more than that.
Okay. All right.
I will give it a little bit more than that.
All right, very good.
It
We'll
was
save
good.
that.
Check
We'll
that
save
out.
that. But Adam, thank you very much.
No problem. Thanks
Hopefully
everybody.
hopefully this tech worked.
Yeah.
We're trying a few different little things so we can do some in the field interviewing and not have to carry so much giant gear. So hopefully this worked a little bit. Hi to Sam. Sam was not feeling well again today, so he is at home resting up. But hi Sam, thank you again for being part of this. And you can catch us next Tuesday for a full episode, and we will see you very soon. Bye-bye.
See you later.
Thanks to everyone listening and watching. You can catch the Pod Bay Door on the Podbean app or any of your favorite podcast apps, including iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, and Stitcher Radio. You can watch the show on our YouTube channel at the Pod Bay Door Podcast. Please download, like, and subscribe. Our social connectivity screen is coming up. Check in with us on Facebook, Twitter, and WordPress. The Pod Bay Door is closed and talent is out. Hey everybody, thank you very much for tuning into the show. We would love to hear your show suggestions and comments. If you are watching on our YouTube channel, please click to subscribe. You can also connect with us on Facebook using @PBD Podcast, on Twitter using @TPBD Podcast, and on WordPress at thepodbaydoor.wordpress.com.